Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, December 7th. Persons who commit non-fatal offenses and agree to enter guilty pleas in exchange for lighter sentences could later have their records expunged from the system. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says the Criminal Justice Plea Negotiations and Agreement Act will be amended to facilitate the expungements post-guilty pleas.
Because I dare say, unless we have more guilty pleas, the backlogs in the court will never be addressed. And we're going to go on a major drive next year to get persons to admit their wrongdoing. And once they're willing to admit their wrongdoing, the state must have some mercy.
He says this would only apply to individuals who, following their sentences, have refrained from criminality and have sufficiently demonstrated that they have been rehabilitated.
So that the incentives will be there for persons to plead guilty, get the mercy of the state, and hopefully, when you go clear later on, you can have your record expunged.
Minister Chuck was speaking at a recent swearing-in ceremony for 37 new justices of the peace for St. Anne. In the meantime, the Justice Minister is also calling for cooperation to resolve the many civil cases before the courts to help clear the backlog. Minister Chuck insists that many of these civil matters can be resolved through simple mediation and lessen the tremendous burden on judges.
If the mediator can get the parties to agree, perhaps on the amount of compensation, or agree that there should be compensation, and then you get maybe the judge to say what exactly should be the amount, then we would go a far way in discharging the burden on the court.
The MS Monarch cruise ship, which is operated by Pullmantur, is considering Kingston as one of the ports of call on its itinerary for the next 3 years. This announcement came after the cruise ship docked at the Kingston wharves for the first time yesterday. It's the largest cruise ship to ever call on the port. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett, who was on hand to welcome the cruise ship, says much is being done to improve the product offering of Kingston.
We have always felt that destination Kingston has a particular allurement, a particular charm, and a value of its own that is impatient of recognition.
The MS Monarch cruise ship had 2,700 passengers on board, and over 400 of them were taken to JIS during yesterday's short port of call. Another 1,000 passengers were shuttled to locations in Kingston, including Port Royal, Devon House, the Bob Marley Museum, the National Gallery of Jamaica, Emancipation Park, and the Craft Market.
And one of the exciting aspects of the shore excursion experiences is to provide an opportunity for expenditure off the ship and also for movement of people from the ship.
Meanwhile, the ports of Falmouth, Montego Bay, JIS, and Kingston hosted a combined 6 cruise vessels on Tuesday. This was the second time in the past 4 years that a large number of ships simultaneously called on Jamaica. In 2012, a record 7 ships made calls on Falmouth, Montego Bay, JIS, and Port Antonio.
The fact is that we are now trending in a manner that suggests that we are going to overtake the Bahamas in short order. At the rate at which we're going next year, we hope we'll be at 2 million, and that will take us into excess of the 4 million arrivals that we require to move towards our target of 5 million in the next 4 years and to earn $5 billion.
Jamaica currently plays host to the biggest cruise ships on the planet: 3 Royal Caribbean Oasis luxury vessels, Harmony of the Seas, Allure of the Seas, and Oasis of the Seas. Drafting of the first 2 codes of practice to enable further recognition of the Disabilities Act will begin next month. Minister of Labor and Social Security Shahini Robinson made the announcement on Sunday. She was speaking at the Grace Baptist Church in a service to mark the start of Disabilities Awareness Week. Minister Robinson said the 2 codes, one for education and training and the other for employment, were the areas of priority for the coming financial year.
Preliminary information to assist in the formulation of these codes and regulations was gathered from island-wide stakeholders' consultations last year, and expertise is currently being procured to advance this process. We anticipate that this work should begin in January 2017 and be completed within 10 months for transmission to the Chief Parliamentary Council for review.
Funds to draft the first 2 codes of practice are being made available through the World Bank's Social and Economic Inclusion of Persons with Disabilities project. 15% of the Jamaican population are known to be persons with disabilities. Minister Robinson says her ministry will be updating its database of disabled persons in order to ensure that this group receives needed assistance.
This will enable the ministry to effect more data-centered planning for this important group.
Disabilities Awareness Week is being observed from December 3 to 10 under the theme Inclusive Information Communication Technologies, the Way to the Future. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, is urging party promoters to get the relevant permits before hosting events. These include permits from the Jamaica Fire Brigade and the Jamaica Music Society, as well as a spirits license. Head of the JCF's Corporate Communications Unit, Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay, explains that organizers need to submit applications for a permit from the JCF at least 10 days prior to the event. The request should be made to the superintendent or the senior police officer in charge of the parish or division in which the event is being held.
You need to provide information as to the type of event, the nature of event, who your target group is, and the number of persons that are expected to be in attendance. All these will have to be presented to the superintendent before it is granted. You also have for Kingston and St. Andrew, there's a special KCC permit that you must have. In the parishes, the parish council also issue this entertainment permit that will allow you to host these events.
Superintendent Lindsay was addressing a recent JIS think tank. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.